and welcome to another happy pod, the only podcast in the whole fucking world. My name is Nathan. As always, I'm joined by Lawrence Thomas. Hi, C. Hello, how are you, good sir? Haha, no one cares, Lawrence.
You're really not weird.
Tell us what the fuck this show is all about.
This is the show where
It's 8 o'clock in the fucking morning, Lawrence. Tell us what this show is about.
This is the show where two early rising boys talk about movies, TV shows, and pop culture things. And we try our hardest to not be negative Nellies about the whole situation. We avoid the toxic nonsense that you so often see, and we try and have a fantasy dozy time while we do so. I'm sorry I woke you up at this point.
That's okay. You didn't mention the word discourse this week.
Did I? I thought I did say discourse.
You did not, which is interesting because I was going to bring up the fact that I don't think you know what discourse means because you often use the word wrong. But
what do I say? How do I say it, and what does it mean? And
well,
what am I getting wrong?
you would usually say we avoid all the toxic nonsense in the discourse or whatever, but the discourse is the toxic nonsense.
I think I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say it today, so you can't make that point against me.
No, but I'm criticising you anyway, which is often what happens on this show.
It's true.
And off this show, because you did a podcast this week. Do you want to talk about that briefly?
I did. So I went on the Fundamentals podcast. It's out now if you want to listen to it.
I'm not on it, so feel free to not listen to it. But
no, you're guesting on it soon, I'm pretty sure.
Today. I'm recording 3 fucking podcasts today.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that. That's really nasty of me.
Yeah.
No, Harley had me on. Great host.
What is it, Lawrence? Tell us all about it.
It's a show where kind of he brings on people. It's a guest of the week show where Harley who is a fantastic interviewer, brings people on to talk about their passions or something that they're knowledgeable about, or like a specific field or something. And he's a very good listener, and he's very keen to learn about stuff. So I spoke about video editing. So basically, you can go listen to a man moan about his job for 2 hours.
And I noticed at one point as well, because I did listen to it, you also had the chance to just get a little pretentious without me to wind you back in immediately. So that was fun to listen to.
Listen, I was speaking from the heart, Nathan, and I won't apologise.
You never do. You also, speaking of you getting pretentious, you also did a video, did you not? Well, plug C up top this week. We're doing it
for a man, for it being 8 a.m, you're being very like generous with your time to promote me this week.
I'm nothing if not a professional.
That's true. Yeah, I did a video. I made my grand YouTube return. Because I'll tell you why. You joked, because it was on After Sun, and obviously we did our podcast on it, and you joked on Twitter this was going to be a direct attack on you.
It was, and I did watch it, and I disagreed with like every single point, but
look, but it wasn't aimed at you. But a behind the scenes thing is since, because on that podcast I wanted to defend it better, and I couldn't think of what to say, and it'd been like I've been doing the washing up, I've been hoovering the house since, just being like, I should have said that.
It wouldn't have helped your cause at all.
No, not with you potentially, but like I wanted to give it the defense it deserved, and I don't think I did on the podcast, so that's why I made the video. But it wasn't an attack at you.
I'd argue it doesn't deserve a defense at all, but hey, that is just me. So there's a couple of things you can check out. The Fundamentals podcast. Previous notable guests include Matt Stewart from Do Go On fame, who is a lot more famous and a lot more fun than Lawrence. So listen to that one as well if you want. And I will be on it in the next few weeks, I imagine. So there's that too. To be honest, Lawrence, this is all in the place of the lack of question, because that is dead now, I think.
Yes, it is dead in the water.
Okay,
correct.
so it is officially dead. We have confirmation.
Yes.
Lawrence killed it. It had been dying a slow, painful death for a few months, though, arguably, because Lawrence would never think of a question, and then, like, 30 seconds before we record, he'd go, I didn't think of a question. I'll just think of one now. All right, yeah, I'm good to go. And then he'll be like, so if the main character in this movie was your dad, how would you feel? And that was fun for everyone. So what are we doing, Lawrence? Where are we?
Let's just go straight into the topic. We're talking about Interstellar. we don't do like a week by week thing, but this was something you suggested and you chose to do.
Yes, I chose to do this movie. Speaking of which, after we did After Sun, because I feel like that episode and you painted me as a as someone who only enjoys popcorn movies and doesn't enjoy something more, for lack of a better term, critically acclaimed or something more, thought-provoking and stuff, which is not true. I do enjoy these movies. So I wanted to do something like that, and something that is actually, spoiler alert, good. Look, it's science fiction. I like science fiction. I like most of the people in this movie. We will talk specifically about cast and some jump scares that pop up because of it. But hey, I like the most of it. It's well made. It looks fucking stunning. Nolan, he goes overboard at some points. I'd argue he does a lot of stuff that is frankly fucking unnecessary. But he does a good job and it looks great. This is a funny little robot which makes no sense logistically, but I like it. It's good, man. It's good. I like it. Out of all of Chris Nolan's movies, this is my favorite, first of all, out of all his movies, and second of all, out of all of his movies, I feel like this is the one where he hates women the less. So the least amount of women hating.
I pulled out my Nolan bingo card for this episode, of which there are 3 main things to hit. Now, this movie ticked 2 of them and missed the one. So the one it missed was terrible female character writing.
Yes.
Because Jessica Chastain and Anne Hathaway both have very, very interesting roles in this. I'd argue more Jessica Chastain.
Yes, I would argue it could be better, but for Nolan, it's not that bad.
Yeah, for Nolan, well done, Nolan. Yeah. This is good stuff for you. The other ones it hit are having to drastically adjust my TV volume depending on set piece versus dialogue sequence.
Usually I agree, but I have a better TV with a good sound system now, so for me it was fine.
That's true.
It was quite.
It's been eradicated from your bingo card.
It was quite. There's no other word to describe it other than epic at certain points. So yeah. There are certain moments in this movie where just like the hairs on my arms are on edge because of sequences which we will discuss. Even with a good sound system, sound mixing still not great at some points in this movie. There's still just dialogue that you cannot hear, just for seemingly no reason, while a man just goes fucking insane on an organ. But hey, I like that organ though, man. So,
he always gets away with it because his organs are just damn fucking good.
That little fucking German man, he loves his organ.
He does. Sorry, referring to Hans Zimmer as just that little German man.
He is, that little German man, he loves his organ.
He does. The second bingo card, it came a little bit later in the movie, mainly in the Cooper preparing for his mission. I think that's about half hour in or so. Was the conversation pausing so that they could go to a different corridor and then pick up the exact same conversation again. You know how Nolan does that in his dialogue sequences? It's rife in Tenet.
Yeah. I've never thought about that, but now that they'll walk through a place and then they'll be like, so here's this, and it's always Michael Caine as well. So here's this thing. This is how it works. Okay. And then it just cuts to them still explaining that. They've seemingly moved quite far, but the conversation is no further along somehow. I know exactly what you're referring to, actually.
And because it's so scientific jargon, it's so specific that it just almost implies that they have to have just walked in silence for 5 minutes.
Like they could have eaten a full meal at a restaurant or something, and then they're back at their office or whatever in that time, and they're still on the exact same point. So yeah.
I like it. Look, don't get me wrong, because I like it because it gives it spices up the visuals. I don't want to see 2 people chat in a room for forever, especially when they're talking about shit that I don't fucking understand. And the film knows I'm probably not going to understand.
And there's a lot of stuff that I feel like that's another point on your fucking Nolan bingo card. Fucking high concept technical stuff that you can't understand.
So you got to go back in time and kill this man's wife, but the wife's actually not been born yet. So that when the wife get the Jesus Christ,
there's a lot of that, and sometimes it works. Sometimes the movie provides you with a good enough story and good enough characters that it doesn't really matter if you don't understand the science aspect of it, and sometimes it's Tenet. So there we go.
Yeah, watching this, I was kind of evaluating my stance on Tenet, because while I like it and I think it's like brilliantly directed, there is so much more about it. A literal note I have, and I think you've kind of said it as well just then, is what's so much more interesting to me is like the set pieces and the characters and the music and what's going on. I don't care if they're going through the wormhole, around the wormhole, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
My favourite part of Tenet was that sequence where it was, the fucking was it a fire truck, like a fire truck heist sequence on the road?
Yes.
That whole set piece was my favourite part of the movie, because it wasn't over explaining shit, and it wasn't just ramming this weird technical stuff down your face. And in that movie, there was no compelling story or characters to cling on to. It was just boring shit.
The world's going to end unless we go back in time and not world end it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But this movie, you do get those great thrilling sequences, and we will discuss them, because there are some which are really, truly just jaw-dropping and amazing to watch. But then you also have really, really good character moments and really just heartbreaking scenes throughout it as well. So I'm not just like, oh, that was cool, but nothing else about it. There's depth and to this stuff and stuff that you can connect with.
The whole movie, I think where this movie really fucking shines is like, depending on who you ask, it can be pessimistic or optimistic. Like, and it ties into the Murphy's Law, like the whole, like, if things can happen, they will happen, but that doesn't always apply to bad things. Like in this movie, they have really shitty luck, and then they have really fucking exceptionally, like, incredible luck.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like good comes with the bad, and I think that's like, yeah, it's just a really, really interesting kind of way to put it. But yeah, this is, how did it leave you feeling? Like bittersweet, or like, I don't know, where were you at with it at kind of towards the end?
Or like the end of the movie?
Yeah, not to like jump ahead, but just to like sum up how you feel overall about like what it was doing and saying.
I feel quite happy about the end of the movie. It seems, it's not a sad ending to me. It's not a sort of thing. It's the promise of something new. It's different. It's, it's not like wasn't that sweet. It's I don't know. It's the promise of a different life, I guess. I don't know. I'm struggling to find the words, but there's no part of that ending where I feel sad. I don't think it's a sad ending in any way. Yes, of course, it's fucking heartbreaking, and obviously terrible that he didn't get to spend his life with his daughter, and now she's older than him and has her own family and that sort of stuff. But even that, Murph had a good life for the most part. She has all her family with her. He's just not a part of it in that sequence. And I think that's okay. They're at literally fucking different points in their lives. So like,
yeah,
I'm okay with
I don't know. Yeah, it reads to me as it's kind of like, for me it's bittersweet, because it's like everyone won, but he kind of lost, even though he arguably sacrificed the most. And obviously, like, Murph, not through choice, but ended up sacrificing a large kind of portion of her childhood to his actions. I don't know, there's something, it's interesting that she's content and he's maybe not. And he even says like he's not content, because he's obviously happy that he's like alive and he's doing his life's long dream of being a pilot and being an astronaut and everything else, and he has the means to do that.
He's not content with just sitting on a space station and pretending everything's fine and this is his life now. He's not content with that, but he's not gonna fucking kill himself or whatever.
He's happy that he's got kind of like a purpose rather than just endlessly farming.
Well, he's gonna fucking go find Dan Hathaway and live on that colony or whatever. So
Strange. All right, because we did jump ahead a little bit.
Absolutely.
Where do you want to go with this? You want to talk about characters? You want to talk about what?
Let's talk about cast.
Okay. Okay, get going. Get what you want to get out.
What?
The jump scare.
Topher Grace is a jump scare for me.
Okay.
Because Topher Grace is. Do you remember that meme that went on? It was like not necessarily a meme so much as a tweet, but like I think it was saying something to the effect of like there are certain actors who just like cannot appear in like like periods movies and stuff because like because like Michael Cera, for example, is someone you cannot buy in a period piece because you look at them and you just think, oh, you know what an iPhone looks like. Like, I don't buy you as this fucking, I don't know, medieval fucking person or whatever.
Yeah.
Topher Grace for me is that, but in everything. Like, I don't buy him in anything, Topher Grace. Whenever Topher Grace shows up, I'm like, oh, it's actor Topher Grace from that 70s show and Spider-Man 3. Like, every single, no matter what he's in, it's Topher Grace. Okay, this is a movie that I'm watching.
Have you seen Black Klansman?
I have seen Black Klansman, yes. He played David Duke.
He's like, obviously he's playing a terrible person, but he's good in that.
A little too good, if you ask me. No, he is good in that, but he's still Topher Grace. Like he can do a good performance. Like I'd argue he's good in this for what he doesn't do much, but he does what he needs to do. But he's still Topher Grace. Like there's no solution to this. There's no fix. Like he can give an Oscar-winning performance, but he'll still be Topher Grace.
And it's good, and he's believably playing another character. So it's not knocking his acting ability, but he will forever take you out because you'll go, that's Topher Grace.
That's Topher Grace. He knows what an iPhone looks like. He knows what the set of that 70s show looks like because he was on that 70s show. And he played Venom that one time.
That's true, he did. He definitely did do that.
Yeah.
I thought your jump scare was going to be...
Matt Damon?
No.
Casey Affleck?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Casey Affleck, yeah.
That's not so much of a jump scare. Terrible person, but it's whatever.
Yeah, it was a bit scary, though. I didn't like the U-turn of him going from Timothy Chalamet to being Casey Affleck.
Was that Timothy Chalamet?
Yeah, young. But what about the flat tire?
That was Timothy Chalamet. Oh, so it was, yeah.
Yeah, little dude. Well, it was like almost 10 years ago now, wasn't it? 9 years ago, the film, so.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, wow.
Yeah. I don't know if that was like his first role in anything, but he's fun. He's very fun for like what little he has to do.
The best thing I've seen Timothy Chalamet in, as in like the best performance from Timothy Chalamet, is what was that movie called? That like Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio, The World Is Ending movie.
Oh, is it?
It's like The World Is Ending. We got like 4 days, and everyone's like, "All right, yeah, cool." And, like,
is it Jonah Hill walks around in the White House and it's like, "Don't blow up the world" or something?
Yes. Jonah Hill's like the president's assistant or some shit.
Don't look up.
Don't look up. Yes, that's it. I think it's a Netflix movie. It's good. I enjoyed it. But yeah, that's the best Timothy Chalamet for me.
I don't think I've actually seen him in much. I've seen him in. Have you seen Lady Bird? He's quite good in that.
I have seen Lady Bird. Yes, he's good in Lady Bird.
Who else we got? We got. I've got a note here that says Michael Caine is always in these, and I don't believe he understands a single thing he's saying.
No, never. No, it's again talk about actors that take you out of it. Michael Caine is just. Here's another one for you, Nolan Midgard. It's just the obligatory Michael Caine.
Yeah, and it's always he's always in a role where he just understands stuff that's like above his station.
Yeah, and he'll talk to you in riddles as well.
Yeah,
he'll talk in like weird metaphors and stories and riddles about stuff. So you'll ask him a question, and he'll be like, "I knew a bloke who was," and that's the message of the story. You always have to do the thing.
And then at the end, Bruce Wayne, because obviously we know what we're talking about, he'll come back and he'll be like, the Joker is still going crazy. And he's like, remember that story I told you? Like, yeah, we all do. It was very clearly the metaphor for the entire movie's plot. We understood it. Yeah, So that's another Nolanism. So that's the fourth to my bingo card. We'll summarize it as Michael Caine wanking on the page.
All right.
No, because we've said this before, and again, if you're new here, we have an expression where writers just like to cut loose. We call it wanking on the page.
Dude, I've never come across that phrase before. Have we said that?
No, we say it. We say it plenty of time. Yeah,
Do we?
We've said it in that exact context of Michael Caine just chatting a load of shit, and it's just a case of you write a fun story to show that you're a good writer, which I would argue Christopher Nolan maybe isn't. Who else is in this? We got Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway does a good job. I enjoy Anne Hathaway in a lot of movies. She's sporting her I recently cut all my hair off for Fontaine and Les Mis haircut.
Yeah, she is, yeah.
Which is good to see. Yeah, she's good. She does a good job. I feel like a little disserviced by the writing at some points throughout the movie. She's not entirely, but it's a bit of a shame that she's like, oh, I love this man, let me go see him at certain points.
Yeah, and I understand. That's the one thing I've always said about this movie. Like, I understand the love aspect does come back around.
Yes.
And it becomes a point in the movie where you kind of see that Anne Hathaway had a point.
Yes.
But let's not pretend in the moment for her character it was anything other than a quick excuse because she wanted to see the person she was in love with.
She wanted to see her mans. Yes.
Yeah.
Who she hadn't seen for 10 years at that point. Move on, girl. You know.
Yeah. Come on, man.
I do like that scene though. I like the moment where she tells Coop McConaughey that well, fine then, we'll go see Matt Damon, but fucking hell, if this goes tits up, then fuck you, cunt, because we gotta choose between going home or going to the only planet we have left. So better make the choice, dickhead. Be objective.
It's a very good scene. I just think it's a shame that it's presented to us as wistful, tearful Anne Hathaway going, but love, it can't be measured. It's unquantifiable. And then Matthew McConaughey's like, well, I'm the man of the mission, so I'm going to tell you that you're being too emotional. Yeah. And I was just like, it could have been packaged in like if it wouldn't have been as like kind of patronizing, I don't think, if it was delivered in a better package. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. But no, very, very interesting. I quite enjoy how love is used like throughout this. I don't think it's happening. I don't think it's quite necessarily accurate, or like, I'm sure scientists out there, you might know about this. Is there scientists out there that lose their fucking mind over this?
No, famous movie ruiner Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's just
what
like
a loser,
just an absolute fucking nerd of a fucking, but like nerd in a bad way. Like, just fuck off, you cunt. Like he likes this movie. He thinks for the most part the science is like spot on, pretty fucking bang on and accurate.
Okay.
Obviously there's some stuff which is science fiction. But for the actual real stuff, it's up there. Yeah.
How do people get that kind of like information? Like, because Chris Nolan's not a fucking scientist.
No, from what I understand, it's a lot of consulting with like professors and actual scientists and people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and that sort of shit. Who actually,
maybe that's why. Maybe he got a bag out of it and was like, "This is the one movie I won't nitpick to death on Twitter."
It may be. Yeah, and the science stuff works for the most part. I feel like the scene where the dude is explaining the wormhole with like the piece of paper, I feel like that's something that's like picked on unfairly. I think like people are always saying, oh, the Interstellar fucking explanation scene, like, but it works. It works because it's a simple explanation.
I don't need it over-explained. I need to understand a black hole to the point where I'm just a guy on his sofa watching the film.
A wormhole, Lawrence. A black hole is something different.
I apologise. I do. See, in that case, then it was dog shit and I didn't understand it. No, it's so effective that Marvel just straight up stole it.
Did they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Natalie Portman did the same thing, and she was like, Interstellar explains this really well, and just did the folded paper thing.
In what movie?
I'm fairly certain it's
because Thor came out in 2011 and Thor 2 came out in 2013, and this movie came out in 2014.
And I raise you that and say that Thor 4 came out the other day.
All right, but she
does it. She does it
in
in the
Thor
thing.
in Thor 4.
Yeah, she's getting her chemo, and the guy comes over and he's like, "Hey, are you Jane?" And she's like, "Yeah, I am." And he's like, "Wow, I like your theory on wormholes." And she's like, "Thanks, it's Interstellar," and then does the Interstellar thing. You can squint. It's right. I'm right. It happens.
Well, maybe. I haven't seen Thor 4 in a while, so I don't know.
It came out this year, or like just last year.
It came out last year for a start.
Okay, late last year.
It came out like a year ago. It came out in July last year.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
It happens, okay?
I didn't watch it until like November or whatever. But
okay, right. So late last year for you then.
But I can't remember. It was a very forgettable movie.
To be fair, it is very forgettable. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Who else is here? So Jessica Chastain, and also Mackenzie Foy playing young Murphy. She's the CGI baby from Twilight.
She's not the CGI baby. Well, no, she is. But like the baby was someone else.
But they did like a CGI render of her as like a 20-year-old or something.
Yeah.
Very creepy stuff. But she's here and she's a real person.
Yeah, she's not being fucking groomed by Jacob or whatever, so that's good.
Yeah, she's escaped that.
Yeah. Yes. Jessica Chastain, good. Mackenzie Foy, good. No complaints there. This movie is well and truly in the McConaughey-sance, as it was called.
Yeah.
Because you have Matthew McConaughey just slutting it up everywhere he goes. Like, right. The thing about McConaughey is good. He's good, but I am not buying for a second that this man is 33.
Do you know? I think he looks like about 33.
Not a chance, mate. 40s at least, man.
Do you think?
Yes.
He's trim. He's a bit. But like in the context of the movie, he's a bit weather beaten. But
he's like supposed to be like 3 years older than I currently am.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I feel like in the context of the movie, like because everyone else around him is like Jessica Chastain looks about 34-ish when she says she is.
Jessica Chastain, I can buy at that age. McConaughey, no. But probably because he's not. Because, like, he's like I don't know, he's like 50-something now. And this was 10 years ago, so he would have been like 40-something when he did it.
But like, I don't think it never pulled me out. I was never like, you're laughably not that. It's not like when someone that's obviously in their 60s is like, I'm a 45-year-old bloke.
No, it's not.
That's obvious.
It's not that. And it's not, the other way of that, the like fucking 42-year-old playing a 17-year-old in like the fucking Vampire Diaries or whatever.
I've got my Letterman jacket on, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not that, but he's not 33, is all I'm saying. But he's good.
That's fair.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
He's good. He's the only Southern person in his family, which is weird. Like
they just let him do that, didn't they?
Yeah.
They just
like he's got this very standard, like, I don't know, Midwestern family. They've all just got very standard American accents, and then there's just the most fucking like Texan cunt you've ever seen. Just you might as well be wearing a cowboy hats and fucking and boots and those fucking spurs on his cowboy boots and everything.
like,
You might as well
just in like a Stetson and everything, just running around.
All right.
They southern him up more as well because they're like he's calling the robot like slick and everything. Yeah. Like it's like, come on, man.
That's the way it is, slick.
He's good. This was in his either I'm about to win an Oscar or I've just won an Oscar era.
I think he won one the year it came out for Jared Leto plays a trans woman or whatever.
Oh yeah, Dallas Buyers Club. Yeah, he's Jared Leto aside, he's very good in that. Matthew McConaughey, but yeah.
Did he win? Did he win an Oscar for Wolf of Wall Street as well when he was in the movie for like 2 seconds?
No, I don't think he won an Oscar for it. I feel like there might have been some fuckery with him. I remember some controversy about him even being in the discussion. So maybe he was nominated? That scene did irreparable fucking damage to like recruiters just having business.
That movie did irreparable fucking damage to just like finance bros. And just that movie is the very reason you have all these fucking grifter cunts on fucking TikTok being like, so like you don't want to sleep and like I wake up at 5 a.m. and I'm on the stock markets, bro. Like, fuck off, you cunt. And fuck Jordan Belfort. Fuck that prick.
Yeah, just a completely irredeemable scam artist.
Just an absolute fucking cunt of a man.
And everyone was like, "Wow, he's such a good seller." No, he's not. He's a liar.
Yeah.
He's just a good liar.
What a prick.
Yeah, what a prick indeed. Anyway, who we must. I don't want to miss anyone on the cast. Who else? Like
John
notable
Lithgow?
people. Oh yes. What's he in? He's in other shit, isn't he?
He's in everything. He's John Lithgow. He was famously the cranky old mayor in Footloose who didn't want anyone dancing. He played a good part in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. He was James Franco's dad, I think.
That's
And he
where
had
I know him from.
Alzheimer's or whatever.
Yeah,
And he was like, I love this monkey.
he was like that.
Yeah.
At one point. Yeah.
David Oyelowo was in it for a second. He was the school teacher, and he was at our graduation, so we know him because of that.
We do know him, and therefore we're part of this movie.
Yes, we're friends with this movie.
Who voices Tars? I feel like it's a distinctive voice.
Tars is Bill Irwin, and I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is either. Oh, fucking evil space Matt Damon.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah, we got Matt Damon. And okay, so I think I may have brought up this specific point on this podcast before talking about another movie. But I always remember watching this movie in the cinema. And we're at the point where we're on Matt Damon's world, and him and fucking Matthew McConaughey, they're just taking a little stroll about the planet. He's telling them about the world. It's like, oh, it's 60 hours in the day, 60 hours in the night. It's pretty cold, but we like it here or whatever. And I'm like, this is nice. It's nice and refreshing to watch a movie where there's no villain. No one's trying to kill anyone. And there's no struggle or anything. And it's quite refreshing and enjoyable. I'm having a good time. But obviously, no. That cannot fucking possibly be allowed to happen. No. And then we just get two nerds having the most fucking nerdiest struggle fight of all time. Just two men who have never been in a fight in their lives, just suddenly thrashing at each other.
It's very reminiscent of we talked about Sunday. We talked with Sunday about Sunshine.
Oh yes. What a weird way to refer to him, Sunday.
Big Sunday.
James.
He refers to himself as Sunday.
Mr. Sunday, but not Sunday.
No, I know him, Nathan. We've dropped the formality. I said to him, I said, Mr. Sunday, hello. And he went, please, Sunday's fine. No, but it is reminiscent of the Sunshine. Two nerds just fight each other, and they've never been in a fight, and it's painfully obvious because they're both just flailing about.
Because they're both just nerds.
Yeah,
that's true.
I did. Let's get into some actual stuff.
What do you think of Dr. Man and the very subtle name that they gave him?
Yeah, Chris Nolan doesn't know how to name anyone. I read a thing online ages ago that said Dom Cobb sounds like a salad, which I quite enjoy.
Dom Cobb.
Dom Cobb. That's his name.
Who fucks that?
That's Leo in
Inception. In I Hate My Wife the movie.
Yeah. Divorce sucks. The movie. Yeah. Divorce sucks in my dreams. But yeah, so he's fine. I like. It is a drastic sudden turn, and it also is very not to keep going on Sunshine. It is very similar in terms of nature. The captain of the previous expedition into space turns evil.
Yeah, but he's not a weird sunshine man.
No, he's not a weird sunshine man, but the nature of it is similar. He's for the entire movie, everyone's been like, he's a hero. He's the best man I knew. And I was like, well, he's obviously terrible because you keep blowing smoke up his ass, so you're gonna need to surprise me with something.
He's Dr. Man Lawrence. I don't know if you understand what they did there. So he is mankind, and he is the best of us. But really, he's bad.
He's a naughty boy. He's a coward. He has a great line that says, "Don't judge me. You were never tested like I was. No man has ever been." Maybe not in this scenario, but
how long has he been there?
Yeah, lonely people exist.
How long has he been there? Because, from his perspective, they go to the water world, and because of like relativity and all that shit, it turns out like the person on Dr. Man's crew who got there died like an hour ago. They was on that planet for like a few hours at the most. And I know that planet was closer to the black hole, so relativity was more intense.
Yeah.
But it can't have been that long for Dr. Man.
No, but he did. I think you're led to presume it. He says, like, there's loads of lines where it's implied that he's just been there for fucking years in isolation. Because he says, like, pray you never have to learn how good it is to see someone's face. He says, last time I went to sleep, the most recent time I went to sleep, I didn't even set up a wake up date.
Yeah.
And like, so I feel like, and that's obviously implied that he's done the long sleep for other times.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, because I don't know if the film like makes a case for it or like if it checks out science wise, because I'm not a fucking scientist. But in the mission, they actually did fuck off 40 years ago, right?
No, 10.
Was it 10 years ago?
It was from
Where
like,
was the 40 thing?
Then? It was 10 years ago from fucking Thingy's perspective. From when McConaughey and the crew left Earth. It's 10 years ago from their perspective.
But Murph is 30 when this is going on.
Yes, but then because of the fuck up on that planet, which I want to talk about, because they spent 20 years in Earth time on that planet, which was like fucking an hour for them, but it was about 20 years. So you got about so that's 30 years there.
Fucking hell. Okay.
Yeah.
Chris Nolan, man. How'd you fucking start writing something like this? And that's not a compliment.
I like there's stuff about relativity really interests me. I like relativity and how that stuff works. I don't know why.
Are you a bit of a space nerd?
I am a bit of a space nerd. Yeah. I like space and this sort of stuff. Don't get me wrong, I don't understand it, and it also fucking terrifies me. And I really the concept of okay, I love space and everything in the galaxy and the universe, but I also fucking hate it at the same time, because like, let me just go off for a minute, because like the universe is supposedly infinite, okay? It's infinite, okay? But I cannot wrap my head around the concept of infinity. Infinity? Whatever. It makes no sense to me. Like, quantifiably, that does not make sense. Like, how can there be no end to it?
But it's also, like, that's beyond human comprehension. You can't comprehend it.
Exactly. It does not make sense to me. The fact that it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on, and there's no physical end to it. But what's beyond it?
Dunno.
Nothing. But
where's Neil deGrasse Tyson when
the fact that there's no end to it? I don't like it. I don't like it, and I struggle to wrap my head around that concept. And I struggle to wrap my head around a lot of space concepts.
Well, I was going to say, because finding out that you're a bit of a space nerd, to a degree, and one of your other passion, your two interests that I found out you had through doing this podcast, despite knowing you years prior to starting this podcast with you, is that you're a fan of the Titanic. You're quite invested in that.
I love the Titanic.
That being a sinking ship, and now obviously I'm finding out that you have an interest in space. So when Matthew McConaughey was piloting his fucking spaceship on a big wave,
yeah,
were you just cheering? What was going on there? You're like,
really.
why are they doing this? It's a ship on it's an actual ship.
Not really. No, I do enjoy like there are some space sequences in this movie which do fucking blow my mind and make my jaw drop, because you know, visually and just very impressive, very impressive. The whole water planet sequence is very, very impressive. Not because of the wave or any shit like that, just the idea of it. The idea that because this planet is so close to Gargantua, the black hole, that just time is completely fucked here. Like, even the fact that the wave that they just missed was the one that just took out the previous fucking...
Yeah.
Like, fucking, they missed it by like 10 minutes. And that was 10 years. That was fucking 10 years ago that this person left, and for them it's a matter of fucking minutes. And there's that whole thing, like, on during that sequence, there's like a ticking noise in the background, and every tick is like 1 day on Earth, and that's what's going on. And it's,
Mate, if Hans Zimmer didn't win a fucking like an Oscar for it's insane.
I don't know if he did actually, but
the score for this had to have picked up something, because the score for this and it's something that he doesn't just. I know I interrupted you just quickly on this tangent, and then you can feel free to carry on. The Hans Zimmer does this kind of thing where he did it in Dunkirk as well, where he actually recorded Christopher Nolan's actual watch ticking and played it in the background of his scores, so that even when there was quiet music, you could just constantly hear a
yeah,
and it's like Anxiety, the fucking score.
That's what this entire sequence is. You have the same sort of thing going on. You do have the ticking in the background during this entire sequence, because this whole sequence it's the biggest fucking risk they can take, especially for McConaughey, who wants to get back for his kids. Like, this is costing them big time. Okay,
yeah,
but it's something they need to do. And
time is a resource and all of that.
Yeah, and they fuck up. And because of that, they fucking waste 20 years, basically, which is mad. What was I going to say?
The shot where they come back on, and he's like, it opens, and the other astronaut's there.
We'll talk about that in a second. Well, I just want to say, while we're still on the planet, one thing I don't necessarily like with that sequence though is they get back on the spaceship. The waves just passed them. They get back on the spaceship. The engines are flooded. That guy is dead. Him and Anne Hathaway having a bit of a blow or whatever. That sounds wrong. A bit of an argument. Fucking hell. A bit of an argument. And yeah, whatever. And then they're like, Tars or whatever says like, oh, engines are flooded. Like 45 minutes to an hour. This is gonna take us like 45 minutes to an hour. So sit tight. Time's ticking away on Earth, fucking years are passing or whatever. And Coop is obviously like, fuck, I'm angry. This is costing us time. 45 minutes to an hour, they say. And then they talk for about 5 minutes. And at no point during that sequence are you led to believe that there is any kind of jump, or does it cut in any way. They just have a conversation for about 5 minutes. And then they see the wave, and they're like, Tars, how long we got left? He's like, a minute. I'm like, what? I know time's weird, but what?
I raise you two things. One, it's a movie. Two, time is relative, I guess.
But it's relative. It's relative to them, not on the spaceship. No. Like,
I know. Look, I get it. But if you wanted to sit there in 45 minutes in real time listening to that, that's on you.
No, but just don't say 45 minutes to an hour. It's such an easy thing.
I know.
Stupid.
Yeah, no, it is stupid. I don't like in that sequence how, because it's difficult, because this is where the character writing for Anne Hathaway could be better, because she makes some dumb fucking decisions.
Yeah.
But I know that her character's not making those dumb decisions. Chris Nolan's making those dumb decisions for her to do.
And John Nolan,
yeah. I just wish, I don't know, because like when it comes back and like Cooper's shouting at her like, you wasted all this time, like you fucked up. I'm like, she has fucked up, but Chris Nolan is the problem here.
Yeah, you should be angry at Chris Nolan.
Yeah, you should turn down the lens and go, and you, Chris. Time for your both. If Tars the robot can fucking cycle through the ocean at such ridiculous speed and pick shit up and seemingly have endless compartments,
yeah,
why didn't he just go get it? Why is anyone off the ship?
The design of that robot makes no fucking sense, man.
No, we can get to that.
What? Just a big block. Like, who's that helping? No, yeah. But then that whole sequence when they do get back to the spaceship, and then you have the other astronaut being like, "Holy fuck, what the fuck?" Like, you're alive? Okay, pretty cool scene. But then one of my fucking favorite scenes of the movie, just the fucking heartbreak. Hey, I don't usually like McConaughey. I think he's a bit of a dickhead, but I'll fucking give it to him in this scene, man. He earned that. I don't think he got an Oscar for this scene, but he fucking earns it in this scene alone. Just the fucking watching his fucking kids grow up and realize he's missed their entire fucking lives, and just the way he's just breaking down, crying his eyes out watching it. It's such a good scene.
It's very affecting, and it just like what I like about this is these kind of moments are presented so fucking coldly, because like it's science and it's the law, like it's that's what it is.
Facts
you went
don't
down
care
to the
about your
planet.
feelings, to quote your hero.
Yeah, my hero, obviously, as we all know. No, but like there's not a big. He doesn't slowly walk over to the monitor and he's like, "What do you mean? It's been 24 years. What's going on?" Like he just goes there, watches it, and goes, "This fucking sucks."
Yeah.
And it's just presented in such a clean fashion.
It's just so good. I love the moments, just the little moments of like, you know, like fucking his son now has a baby, and then just the little wave McConaughey does. He's not waving to anyone; they can't see him, but it's just a nice little wave. And then the way it transitions from I forgot the son's name, whatever, from Casey Affleck to Jessica Chastain, and then he realizes that's Murph. This is what his daughter looks like now, and just the fucking look of realization on his face, and that hard stare on hers, that harsh, critical look from her, and as well the way like she's. I think this might be a little bit later in the movie. I don't think it's part of the same scene, or maybe it is the same scene. But when Casey Affleck is talking about how like, you know, we've never gotten a response. These messages clearly aren't fucking doing anything. They're not going anywhere. So maybe we'll just let you go. Maybe it's just time to move on. So this is going to be the last one. And just the way like he's watching it, and he doesn't say anything, but he just like shakes his head to say no. But he doesn't like physically. He doesn't actually say it. It's just, I don't know. It's just a good performance from him.
It's like he's watching his entire family essentially mourn his loss and move on.
Yeah.
From him while he's there, he's not like a day older.
Yeah, and there's nothing he can do to stop it as well. He's just helpless to watch it unfold. Really.
Yeah, it's fucked, and it does like. That's the thing where like Chris Nolan is so good at these like massive concepts, and like where these films always succeed is setting a massive concept as the backdrop and the emotional damage at the forefront.
Yeah,
like it's why people care about his movies as much as they do.
Yeah.
And that's when it will, like Tenet is the example of like you dropped the ball there, because there's nothing for me to grip onto past this is cool to look at.
Yeah. And it's not cool. It sucks.
Interstellar is obviously like it just fires on those kind of emotional moments. I just realized as well, like when he comes back to see Murph at the end, and he's like surrounded by what is his exact like his family. It's his family by blood.
Yeah,
and none of them pay him any mind.
No, they're just like, who's this cunt?
Yeah, and like even like he's like, oh, you named a station after me, and like the scientists at the station.
That's a good moment. I like that.
Yeah, but it's just like the world moved on, man. Like, you were gone for like 100 years.
You're nothing. Get out of here.
Yeah, your daughter is where it's at.
Weird old man.
Yeah, you old man. I tell you what, if he doesn't look 34, he definitely doesn't look 120. So you got to give him that.
No, I'll give him that. That's fair.
Yeah,
that is fair. What else is there? What else can I say? We spoke briefly about it, but yeah, just someone who fundamentally, for me, steals the entire show. That little German man with his organ, fucking Hans.
Yeah, he's the secret source of this movie's success. That docking sequence.
Yes, and to talk about like sequences which do have my jaw dropping and just mind blowing. That docking sequence is so fucking good, and I think it only works because of Hans. Like,
yeah,
you take out that score, that like visually it looks great, but the reason it's so gripping and engaging is because of that organ going fucking crazy. Yeah,
and it's like it's so because the character like it's all it feels like Hans brought it home because it's all there, right? It's all there, like the character dynamics of like man just being fucking selfish and cowardly and like half docking, but he's just like, I'll take any fucking even if there's a tiny % chance that I can make it out of this alive. And like Anne Hathaway and Matthew McConaughey are like, you're fucking it for everyone, dude. Stop, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
It's all there, and then like if you were to mute it, it's just it loses half of its impact.
Yeah.
And it just great sequence, great way
to build up the tension with everything going on with with Dr. Man and just him trying to dock. But then, yeah, the real fucking star of that moment is when it ramps up and he's like, fuck it, I'm doing this. I'm just gonna fucking spin my ship like an absolute fucking mad cunt.
Yeah.
And just dock with this. And it's
he turns and
literally...
goes, Tars, I'm going to spin my ship like a mad cunt.
What?
I'm just laughing at that. He turns to Tars and he goes, watch this, I'm going to spin my ship like a mad cunt, right?
Oh, well, that was worth interrupting me for, thank you. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, he's literally... It's literally just... a spaceship connecting with another spaceship. Like, how's that interesting? On paper, it's not, but because of the fucking situation, the way he has to get it together, and because of that, again, that amazing fucking organ score, it works. I listen to this score often when I'm at work and stuff. It's just really good. I love it so much.
It's a very good score, and it's very just... good focus music, isn't it?
It's really good focus music. It is. Yeah.
I got to knock some shit out. Let me just put on Hans with his blaring fucking on fire organ. No, very, very good. There's other set pieces in this that are pretty decent as well. I'm struggling to think of one that matches like the level of...
I don't think anything matches the level of the docking sequence.
Yeah. Oh, shit then. The rest of the movie's shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I was curious because I remember watching. I've seen this movie a couple of times, and I remember the last time was on a plane from fucking New York to London. The way Chris
Nolan intended
it to be watched
on a fucking 15-inch monitor on a seat.
Well, there's some fucking baby crying like 3 fucking seats over and shit. Like. This is exactly what Nolan intended. But yeah, like I've seen this a couple of times now, and I always remember, because obviously it's a Nolan movie. I always remember the IMAX sequences and the fucking the aspect ratio shifting. But I don't know if it was just the version I watched, but that didn't happen for me.
No, I didn't have any switching. Where'd you watch it?
I bought it on Apple.
Oh, I bought it on Prime. We could have saved ourselves $1 there.
You love buying movies on Prime, don't you?
I like Prime. I think it's a better service than Apple.
No.
Or maybe not a better service, it's the one I'm used to. And most of my collection now is on Prime, so I can't change it.
Yeah, most of mine's on Apple.
I see the war we're having. No, but yeah, it didn't do it for me either. I think maybe they just... It's possible they just slapped a letterbox over the entire thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Or was your whole thing in IMAX?
No, it was the... I don't know what it is, whatever that aspect ratio is, the letterbox thing. But yeah, I always remember like the corn chase thing, like when they're chasing the drone. I always remember when they turn into the corn, when they drive through the corn, the camera just really... I always remember that, but specifically here, didn't happen. So yeah, I don't know.
That's another one for our Nolan bingo. We should make this up. Aspect ratio changes, bad female characters, corridor conversations that change.
Michael Caine
wanking on a page, and sound mixing that is just fucking utterly illegible sometimes.
Yes, yeah. The moment where I was talking about it was like, another great sequence where it's literally just fucking Jessica Chastain just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on before Casey Affleck comes back and kills his entire family, I guess.
Very strange.
Just trying to like solve, I don't know, everything by just standing in her room. But then when she figures it out and comes down to him, she says something to Casey Affleck, but you can't hear what the fuck she's saying because Hans is going ham on that organ.
Do you think sometimes bad Nolan dialogue is just saved because Hans is like, just let me just go over this. It doesn't matter here. That's bad.
Maybe Hans is just doing us all a favor in the composing suite. He saw the roars and he was like, oh no, I need to do something about. I need to fix this.
just mid conversation, if there's like a bit of a cringy line, you just suddenly hear a trombone go over whatever it was.
Yeah, I'll take it. We should talk briefly about the whole whole like fifth dimensional black hole sequence and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, love saves the world kind of thing.
Where you at with all that?
I'm fine with it. Like,
Yeah.
I used to be more like cynical on it. Like I remember being like, that's Interstellar's the movie where love apparently saves the world or something like that. But like
that's very you.
it is very me. And like but like I was watching it yesterday and I haven't seen this movie in a good like 7-8 years.
Yeah.
And I was watching it yesterday and I was just like, you know what, like they introduce it early enough, like the entire movie has had an element of like pessimism versus optimism going throughout it, and there's something interesting. I do think it, like Chris Nolan was very keen to make the point that Matthew McConaughey was the one that was like pushing the books off and shit. Because about 8 fucking different times he clarifies, it was me, I was the ghost, I was the ghost, man. And I'm like, I know, I saw you do it.
Yeah.
But no, I'm fine with it. Like, I don't know if I fully understand it completely.
Not a chance, mate. Like, fucking hell, there's so much of the shit there I don't understand at all.
Is it like the humans from the future that operate beyond 4 dimensions have created a
5
fifth
dimensions?
Yeah, well, they've created like a 5th dimensional space.
They've created a 5th dimensional space which like transcends time, I believe, and they've done that because Coop did this, I think, like,
and
Coop,
he E.T. phone homes Anne Hathaway with his hand.
Yes, but I don't fucking know, man. Look, I'm not Neil deGrasse Tyson, all right? I don't know.
It's fair. Look, at the end of the day, this sounds incredibly reductive, but the vibes were there.
The vibes were there, yeah.
And I got it.
It doesn't matter if it's...
Yeah.
It's not... This is fully science fiction as well. Like, this is the fiction part of the science fiction. And that's absolutely fine. It doesn't need to be science reality, because that'd be fucking boring. It's completely fine to get, like, a bit fantastical with all this sort of stuff. And I enjoy it. It does. This is where it slips into probably the most like egregious Nolan getting a bit wanky for me, but it's fine. I still enjoy it. It's very much like, oh, I'm gonna do 2001, but better. But like, I mean, good job. Good attempt, anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if you quite landed it, but like, arguably one of the best films ever made.
And when I say like fucking, there's a lot of stuff that Nolan does which is frankly unnecessary. Like, this is one of the things that I'm talking about, because like if you see the like behind the scenes sets of this, like they actually build that whole fucking place, and I'm like, Nolan, like, you can use a green screen, man. Like, don't be scared, man. It's not gonna ruin your entire movie to use one green screen, my guy.
I love the joke of like I remember it was like a, you know, like debussing film, those kind of accounts.
Yeah.
And like sometimes they're annoying and sometimes they are like just quite amusing.
Is this the like nuclear bomb joke or whatever?
Like of how it's Chris Nolan it promotes like a fake promo image of like a featurette of Cillian Murphy being like, yeah, Chris Nolan fried those people. Just so stupid. They do some really dumb shit.
Did like a news story came out like they're doing the nuclear explosion for real in that movie?
Yeah, obviously, like, I think they said they were trying to replicate like a mushroom cloud bomb type situation, which I get, because that would look fucking cool.
Do you remember when he bought a plane to crash it and it like added nothing to the movie?
Yeah, it was just like... he was like, can you make a distraction? It's like, yeah, how about you crash a plane, or like anything else could have been fine. But because it's Nolan, it had to be a plane crash. That is home to one of Robert Pattinson's finest line deliveries of all time, when he goes, you're going to crash a plane? He goes, not from the air. Don't be so dramatic. just very Robert Pattinson.
I would argue that one of Robert Pattinson's finest line deliveries of all time is... I don't know. I was going to do a Twilight one, but I don't
couldn't
know
think of
Twilight.
one.
I don't know Twilight well enough. To do it.
That's fair. It was probably Look at My Volvo.
Look at my sensible Volvo.
I know. I just remember a debussing film tweet once saying tomorrow's episode of Succession leaks, and it's like plot details leak, and it's like the board meeting takes place at an orgy, and the title of the episode is A Suck Session. I was just like, what is this? Who's this for?
Everyone's talking about this show that I don't watch. I'm starting to get FOMO. But
Good, you should get FOMO because it's the best show on TV.
We'll see.
Last thing to discuss.
All right, disperse, if you will.
Disperse, yes, of course. What do you think of? I like the scene where Michael Caine's like, "Forgive me, it was all a piss take. It was all a bit of a ruse."
Ah, yeah. And he does a bit of poetry or whatever.
He does a bit of poetry, and she's like, "Just hurry up and die. I have loads of stuff to do now."
Yeah.
I did like that scene.
Yeah, that's good.
I've always been of the opinion that Michael Caine isn't as good of an actor as everyone makes out he is. In his in this character is in his aging moments, he's quite convincingly good.
He's good at, I like the age. I like it when it's like 20 years later or whatever, and he looks the exact same, but he's just a bit more frail.
Yeah, he looks a bit gaunt. I think he's got like a. I mean, he's an old man to begin with.
Yeah, he looks the exact same. That's what I'm saying. It's like Michael Caine. Like 20 years have passed, and it's still Michael Caine, but now he just talks a bit more slowly.
Anne Hathaway's like, it's been 20 years. Is my dad still alive? And everyone's like, somehow.
Like Michael Caine pre them leaving for the mission is like, let's talk about this fucking mission, and then Michael Caine 20 years later is like, let's talk about this fucking mission. It's the same, but it's just a little bit slower.
Let's talk about this fucking mission.
Do not go gentle. Eat to that good night.
I'll be honest, that's the last thing I'd want to hear. If I'm going out, I'd be listening to like the Moana soundtrack or something. I wouldn't want to put on a slow poem from Michael Caine.
I like that poem though. I like what it says. I like the idea of it comes up in Doctor Who at some points as well, which I always enjoy. But yeah, I like the idea of go out with a bang, fuck it. I don't know, I like it.
This is your favourite Nolan, you said?
This is easily I've not seen them all. I've not seen fucking Hugh Jackman's a wizard and he's a clone or whatever. But
I haven't seen Wizard. Oh no, is there clones in Wizard Fight or something?
I'm spoiled.
Nathan.
Oh no.
I mean, it came out like 10 fucking years ago. It's my fault.
It's very old at this point. But did you do a Caravan of Garbage on it? Or was that before your time?
I think it might have been before. I don't recall ever working on that.
Okay.
Maybe. Who knows?
Well, there we go. Yeah, I don't know. So sorry for spoiling it, but
that's okay. Hugh Jackman's a clone.
Hugh Jackman's a clone, or is Hugh Jackman the clone, or is Christian Bale the clone? I don't know. Someone's
don't tell me now. No, don't clarify.
No, someone's a clone and someone's a twin.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and Michael Caine's in it. Maybe he's.
There's a shock. Yeah.
Anyway,
he's a clone of all the other roles he's played because he's not a great actor.
Christopher Nolan's The Clone Wars. I've not seen that. I've not seen. No, I think that's it. Memento's good. I enjoy Memento.
Memento's good.
Inception is whatever.
I like the idea. This is a note that I kind of had for this, but I think it's more applicable to Inception, where I think Chris Nolan is brilliant at posing great questions, but he's not as good of a writer as to answer them.
Yeah. There's some good stuff in Inception. I just think it kind of falls flat, really. Again, Hans kills it though in Inception. Yeah. Dark Knight trilogy, we've done episodes on that. You can go back and listen. They're fine. Well, I say they're fine. The Dark Knight is very good. Batman Begins is pretty okay, and The Dark Knight Rises is bad. What else did he do?
He's done Tenet, Dunkirk.
Dunkirk is. I don't like Dunkirk, to be honest.
Dunkirk's my number one.
Oh, really?
I like Dunkirk. I like that it just goes, we don't have a plot. It's just good direction and set pieces for the entire
You love movies
thing.
without plots, don't you?
I do.
You love bad movies without plots.
I do. They're not bad, but I do love them. It's what Tenet should have been. If he was going to go for an unemotional situation, he should have just chosen an interesting setting and gone, What if I just told some disconnected stories that all tie together at the end in a neat way, and I direct the fucking hell out of them?
Tenet is bad because
Full stop.
Tenet's not good, man. I really don't like Tenet, and Tenet pours salt in the wound because like it came out like just after we were coming out of first lockdown as well.
Oh yeah,
and everyone had like, oh, movies were back. Let's go see a movie. And like the only thing on was Tenet. So we all went and saw Tenet. And I was like, I hadn't been to the cinema in like fucking almost a year at some point, which for me now is like my dream. But back then I was like, oh no, I miss the movies.
Yeah. I have a theory that Tenet, your viewing experience of Tenet after a cinema hiatus, is what killed your enthusiasm for going to the cinema.
Maybe Tenet is the reason I have cinema.
No, Nathan, look at the timeline. I'm right.
Maybe. But yeah, like I was excited to go back to the movies, and then the one I did, I went and saw Tenet, and I was like, oh, okay.
I'm fine without these things, actually.
Yeah, maybe I'll just stay home next time.
I like Tenet. I think Tenet's good. It just lacks an emotional component. It could have slapped so hard if they just wrote the characters more interestingly. And you don't even need like a fucking like a big emotional thing, but like if they lean more on the John David Washington and Robert Pattinson are like actually really good mates, and that gets revealed in like a Memento backwards in time kind of situation.
Yeah.
Like that could have been really interesting, but it's not. So at the end he goes, we've been good friends all along, and John David Washington and we collectively go, have we? And then the movie ends.
I think that sequence where, is it Robin Pattinson or John David Washington? I don't know. One of them is fighting themselves, but they're having like a backwards fight or whatever. I think that looks fucking laughable.
Nah, that's great. Are you serious?
I remember laughing in the cinema at that because of how bad it looked, I think.
But when you say badly, like, because one of them's, it looks goofy because one of them's going backwards in time.
That's what I'm saying. It looks goofy. It looks dumb.
I think it's well done. You might not like it, but it is like choreography wise, it's really well handled.
For me, because it's goofy and dumb, it just removes the whole tension of the fight. There's no tension or drama to it because I'm just laughing at this guy running backwards or whatever.
I know what you're saying. It's like when you put a clip of yourself doing something dumb in iMovie and you reverse the speed, and it's like, I look silly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. So this list lands at number 1 for you.
This is number 1 for me. This is my favorite Nolan movie.
It's probably my second favorite Nolan movie. Yeah. Then we'll see what Oppenheimer does.
We will. Well, not me. 1 ticket for Barbie, please.
Everyone's acting like they're at war. I'm just gonna see both.
Not me. You gotta pick a side, Lawrence.
Oh, is it what one you watch first?
Yes, exactly. And me, I'm Team Barbie.
We have a podcast where we talk about Doctor Who, Nathan. What's all that about?
It's all about Doctor Who, Lawrence, as you just said. It's called Still Got Legs. It's a clever little play on one of Matt Smith's first lines as he embraced the role of Doctor Who, because we try and see if this silly little show does indeed still have legs. Spoiler alert, it does. It's good. We are just about to start our second season of that show. There's no break in between seasons, so it doesn't really matter, to be honest. But hey, it's how the episodes are formatted and listed, so it's a big deal for us, I guess. And it means we're talking about a new season of the show or whatever. So there we go. You can find that on any where you get your podcasts. Just type in Still Got Legs or go to our Twitter at Still Got Legs Pod, and you'll find a link there. It's good. Come and join in on the fun.
Indeed. And if you had fun here listening to this podcast, you can join us next week as new episodes of this podcast go up every Friday at 10 a.m. Next week, we're going to be having a lot of fun discussing this, which I will now play a clip for.
Being a Mandalorian's not just learning about how to fight. You also have to know how to navigate the galaxy.
Wahoo!
It's not Mario. It's not Mario.
That was just me doing a blanket general acknowledgement that the clip was over.
I have not seen Mario, nor will I. I hear it's bad.
But I tell you what, will this change your mind? And I'm going to ask you this live on air. I received a text from one Ben from Canada that says, please allow me to come on the, or along these lines, please allow me to come on the podcast to discuss Mario. I said, there's no plans to currently do Mario, but I'm sure I'll ask.
Oh, fuck. All right. Well, I'll watch Mario when I can stream Mario. Okay.
Okay. You heard it here first, Ben. Yeah. When no one's talking about Mario, we'll be the first in on the conversation.
As is the Another Happy Pod way.
No, Nathan, as is your way.
And this podcast way, because this is my
by extension.
Podcast. Yes.
Give us a little follow. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram. We are on TikTok at Another Happy Pod.
No, we're not. Stop saying
No, we're not. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitter at Another Happy Pod. Go and subscribe to my YouTube channel or I'll beat you up. And that's something else.
Look, here's the thing. You got the one plug out of me, okay, for the YouTube channel.
It's cheeky to ask for two, I understand.
No. It's not that. It's not that. Look, happy to support you, all right? If you want to do more video essays, more than happy to throw you a plug on our podcast.
Cheers, man. It's also my podcast.
On my podcast.
So gracious of you to allow me to use my own platform.
We'll see who gets the ad money. Happy to throw you a bone there. But look, all I'm saying is, you did a video on After Sun. You did a video on Domhnall Gleeson travels in time and has a wife or whatever. All right. Both of those episodes we've done podcasts on, okay? And at no point in either of those videos, like, maybe towards the end when you're wrapping up, do you say, if you enjoyed this, I actually talked about this at length on my podcast, Another Happy Pod, which you can find the link in the description. That's all I'm saying, man. Just a little fucking thing next at the end.
I promise next one. And if I don't, then you can publicly lambast me.
Well, if you don't, I'll just never mention your endeavours again.
All right, fair enough. All right, I respect it. I apologise. Admittedly, how funny would it be at the end of my praising After Sun video if I went and go check out an episode where we get really angry at each other and basically just have an argument that we edited and put online?
God, I hate that episode. Don't listen to it if you haven't. It's bad.
Yeah, it's not one of our finest. We just couldn't find a common ground on it at all.
No, we just yell at each other for an hour, basically.
Yeah, essentially, it's a repeat on Top Gun Maverick. Although at least in Top Gun Maverick you could understand where I was coming from, to a degree.
Yeah, After Sun still baffles me.
That's fair. Right. Well, thanks for thanks for listening. It's been a wild ride. And we'll see you next week. Nathan, can you play the theme music, please?
No, I can't, Lawrence, because you need to tell them how they can rate and review the show if they want to, first of all.
Listen up, you sons of fucks. If you want to review this,
nice
episode and this podcast in
start
general,
off a segment where you're asking people to leave a review, but sure.
Give us a little review. Give us whatever I'm sure your podcast platform of choice has some sort of review system. It would mean an awful lot to us if you could give it the top option. If you've enjoyed this, if you haven't, you can still give it the top option. Because why try and discredit us? I'm sure there are other people out there. It may not have been your cup of tea, and that's fine. But don't punish us for being cool and being groovy and bringing the people content. That's what I'll say. Have fun living your life. Until next week.
Have fun.
It truly is 8 a.m. It's now 10.
It is, though. What the fuck? It is 10 as well. I was going to say, and now I guess I am saying, have fun, a kiss on the bum. Good night.
Oh, very inappropriate.